Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it and I hope that this video finds you well. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at the brand new release by the company Gucci. This is a 2021 release and it's called the Gucci Guilty Love Edition 2021 or Mmxxi, the Roman numerals. So make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of Gucci Guilty Love Edition Mmxxi or 2021, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews here on YouTube, but also top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, special guests, pretty much anything having to do with fragrances, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, while you're at it, please be sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon. This way, whenever I do put out these videos, they will get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future uploads. So Gucci Guilty Love Edition is actually a fragrance that came out last year in 2020. And that's the one that came in that bright green bottle. It was very heavy-handed on the note of ginger, very bright and sharp and citrusy, very fresh at the same time as well. And now we have Gucci Guilty Love Edition 2021, and of course the numbers being represented by the Roman numerals. Now when you take a look at the note breakdown for this one, it is very different from the original Love Edition. So this one has pink pepper, it has orange blossom, honey, neroli, a bunch of other notes in there, but needless to say, it is a different fragrance from the Love Edition of 2020. Now, I've actually had the opportunity to review the most recent Love Edition prior to this one. I'm going to leave a card for it up here and the link down below if you are interested in checking that one out. And I wasn't particularly in love with it. I think sometimes Gucci can be quite expressive and they can be artistic as well. Even Alberto Morillas, who is their current perfumer, and I believe he's the in-house perfumer for Gucci right now, because the original from 2011 was composed by Jacques Huclier, who also did Angel Men by Thierry Mugler. But ever since then, Alberto Morillas has been creating all of their fragrances, and I wasn't really a fan of the Love Edition from 2020. This one is different on the other hand, but while it is different, it smells similar to a previous Gucci Guilty fragrance that I've tried from the collection. I wouldn't dare say that it's as artistic or expressive as Gucci Guilty Absolute or the Oud version, but nevertheless, I am excited to tell you what I get from the smell, but let's start things off with the presentation. So the box for this one is rather simple and it looks similar to previous presentations from the brand. This is an eau de toilette and it just has Love Edition Mmxxi or Roman numeral 21 written here in the front. All of your ingredients may be located on the back. Your serial number is punched into the bottom of the box. And the bottle for this one also looks quite nice and it's the same exact color as the box. And on the back here, it says we should be together, but we are not. The cap for this fragrance does click into place very securely, so you can pick it up from the cap. And the distribution on the atomizer is nice and wide. Let's continue with the smell. So as soon as this fragrance opens up, you're going to get this bright, fresh, and musky thing that's going on in here. The citrusy freshness that you're going to get in the opening, it's a little bit on the generic side. So I'm going to say there's probably a lot of bergamot in here or citrol, citronellol, some of these molecules that sort of give off that generic freshness in the opening. And then as that starts to settle, you are going to get this slightly floral mid that just comes across smelling clean and musky at the same time. Now, in terms of orange blossom, which is one of the listed notes, I don't really get that from this fragrance. And I've encountered a lot of orange blossom or African orange flower fragrances in the past. And I can say the way that they smell is so different from this one. And I'm talking about fragrances like there was a Fahrenheit flanker, I believe it's Fahrenheit Aqua or 32, I forget which one it is. Also Fleur de Mal, which is by Jean Paul Gaultier, came in the white bottle. I believe it's discontinued now. And there's also Altamir by Ted Lapidus. All of those have a much stronger orange blossom note, which can actually come across smelling a little bit sweet as well. And so I thought that the inclusion of the honey in here would add some kind of a sweetness, but there's nothing in here that smells like orange blossom to me. There's nothing in here that's sweet. If anything, it's more of like this musky, masculine lavender fragrance that kind of falls in fougere territory, if you will, but it doesn't smell like a barbershop fragrance. So in terms of a lot of lavender-based fragrances that I have encountered, whether we're talking about Caron pour un homme or Lavender Extreme by Tom Ford. This is not on that level. There was another one by Kilian Paris called The Taste to Heaven. Very well done lavender fragrance that unfortunately is now discontinued. This is more of like a mass marketed commercial lavender. So you're not going to get pure or true lavender from this fragrance. It doesn't smell organic. And as a matter of fact, it really just has this commercialized mass marketed freshness about it that I think you're going to get complimented with, that I think is going to appeal to a large population of consumers. You know, if you're in the market looking for a fragrance that is going to get you that positive attention from strangers and, you know, friends and loved ones, whatever. But I think this one, and here's my qualm with this fragrance, in my opinion, it smells either too similar to the original or Gucci Guilty Black. So these are two fragrances that I own from, you know, the Gucci line. And I find that the original has that generic musky lavender, slightly floral, yet clean smelling aroma about it. And what I get from this one is pretty much exactly the same, which leads me to my next point. With a name like Love Edition, I was kind of expecting this to smell somewhat like the previous year's iteration. If anything, I was expecting this to be a bit of a twist on the 2020 version, but unfortunately, this one goes way back to its origins, which is 2011. So I don't see the need to have this one or to purchase this one if you have the original from 2011. And also considering the fact that the original was made by a different perfumer, I don't really see a whole lot of originality in this one. However, if you are looking for a fragrance that you're going to get complimented on, if you're looking for something that's very safe, pleasant, easy to wear, you don't want anything that pushes the envelope, and you don't want anything that's ultra artistic or avant-garde, obviously I think you've met your match with this one. This one is a great scent if that's what you're going for. However, if you're familiar with the original and you like some of the darker expressions from Gucci, whether that be Gucci Guilty Absolute or you really like the Oud version, I think you're going to be quite disappointed by this release. So I'm going to be wearing this one a lot just because my wife really loves this, but I must admit I was expecting something a little bit more. I was expecting to be wowed. I saw the promise of the neroli, the orange blossom, and I do realize that the original from 2011 has African orange flower listed as a note. So I noticed the similarities in the note breakdown, but why would they release a similar smelling fragrance? You would think that they would make something different about it just to add that air of uniqueness and originality, but regrettably, I'm not getting much of that in this fragrance. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I don't find this fragrance to be unique at all. As a matter of fact, it just smells like the original. I was expecting it to smell a little bit different with the citrus, the pink pepper, the honey, the neroli, the woods in the base, but unfortunately, you have that same sort of, dare I say, generic musky lavender that you're also going to get from the original. So if you own the original, there is absolutely no need to purchase this one. I would say even if you own the intense version of the original, there's no need to purchase this one. The longevity on this one was pretty good. I got about 6 hours on my skin, which is average given the concentration. In terms of the projection, I would say it projected really well for the first hour and a half of application. It didn't start to sit closer to the skin until about that 5-hour mark. And then at that 6-hour mark, it really became a skin scent. You couldn't really smell it on your skin anymore, thus, you know, feeling the need to over apply. In terms of the versatility, I think this one would work a lot better in the hotter weather. However, it does make for a great office scent. So if you want to wear it indoors in a climate-controlled environment, especially in an office scenario, you can definitely pull this one off and you are going to please people around you. It's not cloying, it's not overly strong, it's not offensive or aggressive or anything like that. I think this one does lean masculine, and I also find that this one is appropriate for somebody who's younger as well as somebody who's a little bit older as well, because it doesn't have any sort of that juvenile sweetness, like that bubblegum vibe that you get from like 1 Million by Paco Rabanne or anything like that. So I find it to be a pretty versatile fragrance. I just wouldn't wear it when it's really cold outside unless I'm going to be spending most of the day indoors. And in terms of the presentation, I actually quite like the presentation, that pinkish periwinkle looking bottle. And I do like the name of it, Love Edition. You know, there's something amorous about it, pardon the pun. But my final verdict on this fragrance is, It was certainly a redundant purchase for me, and I paid full retail on this one because it came out recently. And from what I'm being told, it was actually made available late 2020, but 2021 is in the name of the fragrance. So I'm going to honor that, and I'm going to consider this a 2021 release. But it's very pleasant, mass appealing. I guarantee you're going to get a bunch of compliments wearing this one as well. Perfect for an office scenario, but it is redundant and smells very similar to the original, thus stripping away the need to purchase this one if you do indeed own the original. If you're owner of the original, you really don't need this one. It is going to be redundant and repetitive. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you liked this video and you took something of value from this review. That was my review of Gucci Guilty Love Edition 2021, or Mmxxi. And of course, if you did like this video, please do consider supporting this channel by leaving a like down below. Comment, of course, let me know what is your favorite fragrance from Gucci. And also remember to subscribe. This way, whenever I do put out future videos, they will get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future uploads. Also, make sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell. Thanks again for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you soon. Bye.